Commission meeting underway. There are Title VI forms on the back page. If you care to fill one of those out, you can turn those into the auditor's office. If you'd all stand, I'd like to ask Tim Walton to lead the pledge. All out.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
You all join Pastor Terry Canfield and lead us in prayer, please.
God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the opportunities that are before us and for this meeting. For each person here, we pray that your presence would rest upon them. For our commissioners, thank you for them and for their service. I pray, God, that you would give them wisdom and guidance, give them clarity of thought as they work toward making this a better community. And we pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. View of our May 6th meeting minutes. Any questions or corrections?
I did not see anything.
I did not either.
I moved to approve.
Here's our May 17th executive, special meeting, I'm sorry.
Second. I reviewed them. I moved to approve.
I'll second that. Claims. Any questions?
The only one I had, Janet, there were two separate claims for software and support for some of the computer programs and total a little over $45,000. Is that, it said it was January 1 to December 31st. So do we pay that amount for twice a year?
The support is on a yearly basis, and the software for financials is every 6 months.
Okay.
And it's software for the property tax.
Okay. So are these programs that you have to use through the state or?
They're not required by the state, but they are software that was purchased or leased for my running in the auditor's office, like the H6 or 08. And it's for both the treasurer's office and our office.
I just didn't know if that was a thing that they pay twice a year for $45,000.
I know, not, no, I think it's a total of $85,000.
Are there any alternatives out there, or is this the best?
In my opinion, it's people are going to them. 54, 57.
I think it's 4. I was going to say closer to 70. So, every time we go to conference, they say they've taken on so many more counties. So
Awesome. Okay.
they're the majority.
Very good.
They have an awesome service. You know,
Well,
all
it'll
we
make
gotta do
things
is call them.
easier.
Between us and the treasurer, we call them a couple times a week.
Okay. Yeah. If it makes your guys' job easier. I didn't have anything else.
There were several Amazon charges. There wasn't anything in the comment column where that went. Just
Does it show what? Does it show what?
no.
They should at least be the
I figured that.
Okay.
By the expense.
claim number.
Well, that's the sheriff's, that's the jail.
And they're putting in their own claims. So we
Go by the sheriff. Sheriff, jail. And I think that would be IT. You know, that, slowly bringing in departments to have their own claims, which stays our office. And then if there's something in it wrong, it's on them.
I'd move to approve claims.
Second. No. Payroll. May 10th. Don't have a total or signature page.
$367,259.78. This was on the substation.
Just that's not a printed for some reason. Okay. Can you just sign the back page there and all?
I move to approve payroll.
One second.
Todd Howe.
Morning, gentlemen. Since we met last time, Highway Department had LTAP come in and give surgical training and fall protection, which I thought was pretty good. We've been patching, bush whacking, and also mowing roadsides, grading roads, spreading stone, sign maintenance. We got an entry-level range course set up in the parking lot for the drivers for training. RFP and LOI for Bridge 131 being scored now. To make the selection of who would be that bridge.
Which bridge is that?
Sorry,
Bridge
Bridge 131,
Nobody knows. What's the location? What's the road intersection?
County Road 1000. Oh, it's 200 south. That right? Yeah. 200 south. Burn. Right. Okay. We have the fuel bid's been opened up, re-advertised. We also have the CCMG for chip and seal is open for advertisement. I'm working on a bridge contract for bridge inspection 25 through 28. Has to be submitted by the 31st this month. And last thing I have is we're going to hire a contractor for addressing the roadsides on CCMG last year. And just see where that takes us in the budget. And hopefully it won't hurt us too bad, but that's why I'm not, just have to ask for this.
What's the dates for your community crossing?
I said Tuesday, Thanksgiving.
And fuel the same day?
So how are you gonna work your bids for the roadside repairs? Are you gonna do a scope of work and then bid it out, or are you,
I'll just hire a contractor to do it.
but to do, I mean, do you have like a scope of work, like where areas that you want
Well,
done
we
specifically done?
will address where we can. Okay, some places we might not be able to address because there's no ditch. But we will hire a contractor. Probably looking at, this first part is just gonna be what we paid last year. And then we'll have to relook at this.
Stone shouldering.
Yes, just don't show it on that. So we'll do it probably, we've always done it. We'll like, we put half stone shoulder where feasible, someplace we can.
Some places you'd be impeding water.
Yes, and then we won't do that. We'll try to do what we can, make it safe as we can. We'll try to work with it. Never just we do it, see the shoes on the back. Case by case by case by case.
Sounds good.
I got a phone call last week from a lady asking about striping the intersections up at Love's on 421 between the overpass intersection all the way down to the turn lanes past Love's. Because it gets apparently very confusing and she's afraid somebody's going to get hit there. I told her that we were still looking at trying to figure out what to do about the potholes that could hit a car. And that we wouldn't do any lane striping or anything until that was done. We know where we're at on that conversation. The repairs are clear.
We reached out to NDOT. NDOT basically comes all the way down to the main line. That's where they're at. They got this summer, I believe, is that correct? They're gonna go in there and redo their on and off lanes. Right down to our main line. So now we're at the finish line. We know where whose jurisdiction lies with each.
So NDOT's gonna do theirs this summer, and then we'll plan to finish up.
If there's anything left, we'll go in there.
Yeah, because the, had 3 or 4 weeks ago, it's basically gone.
Yes.
I mean, with the amount of semi traffic that goes through there, I mean, it just eats it up.
Mhm.
And I mean, so I travel that way at least once a day. You can still see lines right now. They aren't super clear and everything, but I mean, it's a danger of the area anyway, because semi trucks are always pulling on front of you. You can be 100 yards from the love and you pull out in front of you. So.
And I think some of the patchwork we've been doing is actually on NDOT's right away.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to reach out.
No, that's good.
That is Franklin Painter from. Is it? Anything else?
Fletcher, yeah, we're gonna do Fletcher Power. To bring all Fletcher Power, of course, to the Byers storage plant, up there on Warren North. Been working with Brian, with the company, come up with a road use agreement and Chad. So we're all in agreement, we need to agree. So I'm gonna turn it over to Brian, to here to present it today. All three of us present.
Yeah, actually, it was, again, dramatic by the power project, as a contingency for, rezoning, right, for the road use agreement, decommissioning agreement as well. That's the decommissioning agreement is close. So I can have it to David, put on for the next meeting. But, road use agreement, we have actually Ian Evans here from Decatur Power, to talk about it. You guys have a copy of the agreement for you, or I assume that.
I don't have anything for me yet.
I can invite Ian up here to answer your question. And yeah, he intended to work about close to.
Thanks. Yeah, so Ian Evans, Iowa Power, who owns the Fletcher Power battery storage project. I've been working with Tim and Brian, decommissioning and road use agreement. We were here, I don't know how long ago that was, Brian, the tax abatement stuff, but a little while ago. So we got that approved. Been working with Tim on the road use agreement for a number of months now. We've come to an agreement. The road use agreement outlines financial security hosting requirements, bonds and things like that to cover the cost of repairs. Preferably, we don't have to go that route. Preferably, we're able to do those ourselves. But that provides some security for the county in case that for some reason that doesn't happen. So it outlines standards for the roads and bridges and things like that, and then also financial security hosting requirements required of us for the project. Happy to answer any questions on it.
And it also predetermines the route that
That's right.
their
Yeah.
equipment's gonna take.
It's like, I think it's 2.33 miles and the roads are predetermined. Our interests kind of align in that. We want to make sure we're making as few turns as possible and on roads that are going to be able to hold our trucks.
I know when Chad had looked at it he provided a comment to us about a 10-day period. Were you able to correct that?
We changed it to 30 days.
That's the last copy I got was the red line. I haven't seen the most up-to-date version yet.
Tim, I can resend the most up-to-date red line from us.
Yeah, I like a revised copy here, so I'd like to see it.
Yeah, with the 30 days. Yes, we bumped up the security from 210,000 a mile to 250,000 a mile and changed it from 10 days to 30 days. Those are the main 27th Avenue.
And the bridges.
And the bridges, yeah.
So right now, there's no large bridges on the route they're shooting. But instead of bonding to a real high amount per road, if they go back and change or add any roads, like bridges, they will fit them bridges individually on them routes. Yeah, that's 3 changes.
I have a question. I'm in agreement from what I've seen so far.
I didn't have anything to, we'll have it updated at our next meeting. Sign. We'll have it ready for our next meeting and get it approved in June meeting.
Thank you.
Kenny?
Good morning, commissioners. With our last meeting, we had 38 building inspections, 10 new permits and plan reviews, 2 complaints, 1 per property with multiple unplated live vehicles, possibly running a salvage yard. We'll investigate that one close. The second was for remodeling a house and a garage after rezoned to an R4 multiple family dwelling. The person failed to come in and get permits. I called the property owner and told him to come in and get 2 permits, 1 for the house remodel and 1 for the garage. I met with him about the garage and pointed out several code requirements on that. I will set up a meeting to inspect the multiple dwelling quarters this week. I have drafted and printed order for action letters on 10 different properties at Lake McCoy. Plan on sending those out as soon as possible, with more that I plan to draft this week. I have another Lake McCoy meeting this Wednesday, the 22nd. I'm still identifying complaint properties at Bernie. And plan on working on that as quick as possible. That's all.
Do we have a timeline on the complaint properties?
Timeline as far as what's on my letter.
When you're gonna get them done?
I've got 10 of them done right now. I just got to get with them and get them sent out.
And then Bernie?
Yeah, I don't have those letters completely done yet.
And you're an office of 1, correct?
Say again?
You're the one person who works in your office.
Yes.
I'm assuming that that's probably part of the reason why it takes such a long time to do these things. We've been talking about Lake McCoy for 9 months, and then Bernie has been 2 or 3 months for trying to get letters put out with the property owners out there identified.
I go out and do 4 to 5 inspections every day. Just the drive time alone would be 60 miles and taking 2 hours just for that, plus the time for the inspections. And it's just like there's just not enough time in the day to get everything done.
Do you have any thoughts, ideas on how to make that better? And the number of complaints that we're getting, even prior to me becoming commissioner, sounds like they've been coming through and then not being able to get done. So I know that your office used to be a part of the area plan office instead of being separate. Is that something you think we should do to help you get your?
That's possible. We have to coordinate with Krista and Debbie and see if they wanted to reincorporate that into it all. The one, so I'm not on my own.
Any thoughts from Mark or Jeremy on that? Some of this stuff has been sitting for 9 or 10 months straight. Because we've been talking about burnt down houses, holes in the floors that we need to get letters out on. I think McCoy and the burning thing's been pretty steady since last fall too. By the time it came, I don't remember when last fall, but we've done. We've not even sent a letter out yet.
Are the letters like a form basically now, where you're basically plugging in the same information?
That's how I'm doing it.
Is that something that you information now, even without combining.
Well, we have to know the specific property.
But if he gives you like the
Violation.
address, the violation, and, you know, deadline, whatever information he's filling in the form, basically. If he gives her that information, is that something she can help generate some of those?
He'd still have to go out and inspect all of these.
Yeah.
On the list, right?
But I mean, if he gets that information, he can then give it to Debbie to do the letters. And so he can tell her, yeah, what the violations are, the date that it needs to be, you know, fixed. And so the letters can go out, so he doesn't have to spend time doing the form letter.
They're actually, all I do is print off a copy of a beacon of the property, and then I plug in the 18-digit number, home address, address of the actual property, complaint, and then the complaint letter is the same. If whether it's a 92 nuisance property, or if it's a 150 and it's a hazard.
When you're doing these letters, are you documenting what the actual violations are on the property? Or you just send a regular form that just has basic info?
Just basic information. It's got a copy of the nuisance ordinance on it that says everything that needs to be removed or cleaned up. We give them 30 days. I think I had 15 days on the properties that need the burn houses. I had 15 days to get back with me with a plan of action.
But there's no specific information on it.
Yeah.
So if you were to no longer be employed with the county after sending these letters, nobody would know what their specific violation is.
On each property, you mean?
So like if the house has got a hole in the roof because it's half burnt down, you don't put in that the house is demoed, you're just putting in your violation of this ordinance. And they have to figure out what the actual violation is.
I'm not following. I put down on it, the letter has on it that if it's a burned house that needs to be removed, they have to remove it.
So if somebody has 30 cars sitting on their property, do you state in there you have 30 vehicles on your property that need to be?
That's not on that letter.
So how do they know exactly what the violation is?
That's what the one I'm trying to figure out how to put into the computer system that you can help me with. I'm still working on that.
So the blank letter is just a copy of the ordinance that they're in violation of. There's no specifics in it at all. When you create the letter and do your report, there's nothing that specifically says what they're doing.
Send me a copy of your letter, and I'll work on it a little bit, and I can send it back to you. We might be able to put something in there. That kind of remedy some of that.
Send him a copy of the complaint form also.
Yeah.
That way he's got. We can do it.
Yeah. We'll
Plug in the.
yeah, I'll get something where there's some blanks. I'll highlight them in yellow and save that as your original, and then you can just use that same one for all of the additional letters that you have filled out.
You don't feel like the letter should be specific to the
It will
violation?
be. It will be. It'll have in there. I've noted your violation is blank. You need to address it by. Yeah. Send me what you're working with. I'll take a look at it and see what we can do.
Can you send it to all of you guys?
You can. Sure.
I can do the check too. If you want.
They say ultimately, one's got to take all your documentation and proof of the reports that they're in violation and they've had proper notice. So that's what I'm working on, is to make sure that if we go to abatement, that we have proper documentation to actually be able to do so. It's not a waste of time.
That works.
Anything else, Kenny? No, I'm good. Mindy,
Yes, sir.
you're up.
Okay. I'm coming to you to get permission to buy an incinerator. It will take place of the dumpster that we pay nearly $100 a month for. for animal disposal. And it's likely used. It was owned by a retiring veterinarian out of Rushville. And they're gonna sell it to me for the incinerator and the fuel tank for $2,400. A brand new one goes for over $5,000. And then the tank is separate. So I have the money in my unrestricted. And I plan on putting it behind the little shed, the old one. And, granted, when it runs, it will have a little bit of smell. We won't run it during fair week or, anything. We'll be considering, if there's things going on down at the fairgrounds. And then we can also start offering cremation to people, residents, because, some people rent, and they have animals and they can't, bury them, and they have to have a place to, dispose of them, so we can offer it. Rushville and Charlottesville also does it too. So, and it would generate some money coming into the shelter.
So where you're getting it, are they gonna install it for you?
Mhm.
That's, okay.
There might be a little bit of an installation fee, but it wouldn't be much. And then the Rushville director will come down and train us on how to use it. And we'll put a fence around it. I mean, not because it's gonna be hot, and nobody needs to see that, so. I'll have Indiana Wire come in and put a fence around it with the privacy slots in it, so then you can't see.
So the incinerator is 2,400.
Mhm.
How much is the gas tank?
It's included.
Okay. And how much are you currently spending on disposal?
About $100 a month. Right under. It fluctuates from month to month with the fuel charge.
From what you've talked to Shelbyville and Rushville, how long do these things last?
I don't know. That is something I don't know. I mean, Rushville's had theirs for quite a while.
What's your current expenses for disposal?
Like I said, about 100 a month.
It's about 100 bucks now.
Mhm. Because BioCorp hasn't been taking dogs here lately. They'll take cats, but they don't take the dogs. And I just feel like it's maybe a better way to totally get, the total into life, instead of just dropping them in a landfill. Because that's where they go once they're picked up. Then you don't have that stinky dumpster down there, because even though it's empty, when it's 100 degrees outside, it stinks.
I think this is something that's good. I think it will pay for itself long term. And I do like the idea of offering the pet cremations.
And we've got it set up and I've got it ordered in, and we're getting ready to advertise it. We're selling flea medicine, low cost, flea and tick. And eventually we will start offering heartworm tests, low cost. So people, to keep their animal on preventative. So,
I make a motion to go ahead and approve buying the incinerator gas tank for $400. And I go ahead and make a second motion then also to pay for the fence to have that installed and around the incinerator and the gas tank.
Pay for the fence out of there.
Yeah, funds to pay for the fence.
Mhm. Yeah, it's not gonna cost you guys anything.
Well, second. Motion.
I'll concur. Thanks for it.
Thank you.
Doreen.
Good morning. I'm here to ask permission to do a rental car for our conference that's coming up that is in Fort Wayne. This year is the first year that we've actually had one out of Indianapolis in all the years that I've been here. And we would, well, I would like to rent a car through Enterprise. It would cost for 4 days, it would be $392, but that's including tax. And they haven't given me a government discount yet, so it would be less than that. And I do have it in my budget to pay for that. And I read the policy, the personnel policy, I guess it is. And there's nothing in the personnel policy that states that we can or cannot do it. So I guess I'm just here to ask for permission to do that.
So how many be going?
3 of us.
Would you be turning in gas receipts then as well? No gas receipts.
That's locally.
Yes. I mean, in our personnel policy, it does talk about taking a bus or a taxi or even airport transportation, but it doesn't say anything about a rental car. And it does state in here, whenever practical, travel will be accomplished in a county vehicle or via common carrier. Under business travel in our personnel policy. And it is a state call meeting. It's one of the ones that we go to get our continuing ed. That we have to keep our money.
I personally think it's a good idea. I think if all 3 of you went and drove individually, we'd be out more money than that in mileage. And be going together and
It's
a little safer.
Yeah, saves wear and tear on our vehicles as well. And so we can figure out if that's where they're gonna keep it or what the deal is with the association.
What about it?
Patty, did you check into that? I know we discussed it.
Or Kevin?
I think the driver that rents it has to, their personal insurance has to take care of that.
And since it's gonna be a county business,
I mean, they're in their official capacity.
the auto policy will, even though she signs it personally, will extend the county's insurance to that rental car, both liability wise and physical damage.
So you're not gonna nickel and dime us for something extra.
Dolly.
I'm trying to think how we traveled when we flew someplace for conference out of state. I think we always ended up with little cars, so that abnormal things.
Yeah, the only limitation might be like a $50,000 limit. So if you're gonna get something more expensive than 50 grand.
No, I actually have a hold on just a sedan. I think it's an Impala vehicle. I tried to go, not compact, but I tried to go big enough for 3 women to go and have all my luggage fit.
You gonna have to pull a U-Haul trailer?
Well, I think when we go to Indianapolis, it does fit in Jenny Knight's vehicle, and she has an Impala as well. So we tried to get something comparable to all 3 of our vehicles. So
I'll make a motion to approve.
As long as we aren't turning the gas receipts as well, I'll second that.
thank you. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. Chris? Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
So one of the things that of us last year when we did budget was trying to think and put together a quarterly report, just so then we could extension and report out what quarterly numbers look like, just to reinforce what we do through the year. Since we're kind of one of the departments that exists separate from the county, but also kind of fall under the county through the contractual services. So it's a working report. This is what we've put together up until this point. So just kind of quickly looking through, so program schedule for quarter one, we had 46. In addition to that, maybe sessions. So whenever we provide programs, they're measured by program and session, because we have multiple programs that may fall under one unique program, and then each program has like 6 sessions. So then we would be visiting with that location 6 times per one. So that number may be larger. Direct contacts are individuals that are in front of us. So they're the ones that, like everybody in this room, would be a direct contact. For quarter one, we had 1,028. We had 53 consultations. These are emails, people coming into the office, somebody grabbing us at Walmart when we're there buying something for a program, asking us what bug or tree this is, kind of thing. So those are documented as well, because they're moments of education. We attended 32 committee meetings, and these are anything outside of Purdue RAND meetings. So these are things in the community. Indirect contacts, 3,748. So these are anybody that we would deal with maybe virtually at health fair, somewhere where it's just, they kind of come and go. It's not something that we're just sitting with a lot. We had 2,125 miles documented for quarter one. There was no overtime. So that was one of those that I added, because I know every year budget time, Commissioner as well as council, that's something that we always discuss in the extension office overtime from a standpoint of support staff. So we're really making sure to watch that and make sure we are keeping it in check. So as far as sports enrollment is concerned, that's one of the big numbers we always track in the county. So total, we have 499 documented at quarter one. I can already tell you that number's higher since then. And then as far as extension volunteer hours, that's something that I would like to add, just because you can measure volunteers' wage based on hours. Right now, the rate is $33.49. So start small, maybe look at the council and identify how many hours, and calculate that into funds, so that we can just kind of have an idea. Then just wanted to include some achievements each quarter. So quarter one was really geared around the logistics, I feel like, more than anything. So we hired a new nutrition education program assistant. So that is somebody that functions through the SNAP program. That's how they're funded. They have to, their population has to be at least 50% SNAP qualified, and they do physical activity and nutrition programming with them, and they're already integrated and doing programs here weekly for the most part. The other things that we did were recruited new extension board members, and also recruited and approved a new member for the APC for the vacancy that we have with our educator that lived out of county. And then the big thing that we really noticed in quarter one is that for 4-H, I asked Nora to track how many unique new 4-H members do we have on average. We used to see between 15 and 20, and this year at the end of quarter one, we had 36. I already know that number went up as well. So that means that we have more people, new families, new individuals coming to the program. So we're one of the counties that I think is actually seeing growth. So we're heading in the right direction. So if there's anything that you would like to see kind of in addition to, or if there's things that you would like us to try and track, we can certainly add. This is just something that we give you a snapshot as to what we are doing. But also wanted to bring Catherine as well. So Catherine Neese is our new community wellness coordinator as well. So we hired that position in. Very similar to the NEPA, the Nutrition Education Program advisor position. She is going to work more on the logistics side. So she is somebody that, here's elevator speech if you want, Catherine, introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. Like Christopher mentioned, my name is Catherine. I'm also funded through SNAP Ed, so I'm an employee at Purdue University, but I work here out of the main office in Decatur. In addition to Decatur, I'll also work with residential county. So I'm in the 3-county area, but this will be considered my home base. With this position, we're looking at policy, system, and environmental changes. So changes in the community community that make it possible for people to have access to nutritious foods no matter where they live. Other CWCs in other counties have done things with aid-reaching trails, finding grants for food pantry access, community gardens. There's really a lot of ways that you can go just depending on the community needs.
So questions for us?
Decatur County girl? Chris, I did have something then relate to this, and I'm not even sure it relates to you, but the judging thing that took place after cattleman. Was there a livestock
The
judging?
livestock, I think, yeah.
The cleanup after that wasn't very nice. We had a wedding reception shortly after.
Sure.
And you got some unhappy people that were renting the building. So I don't know if that gets laid on Jake. I think it's his problem to clean it up. No, it's all volunteer if it got.
So it is all volunteer. It's something that is put on by extension. Outside of pressure washing, all of it, I mean, we did our best to clean it up. In my opinion, we left it as good as what it was.
Was that the restroom situation? Was that the restroom situation?
No, the restroom situation. This I'm assuming they mean because the one thing that I do know that I reached out to the area coordinator of that what we try and do is put down as much bedding that can catch any kind of excrement. And the cattle side of it, there was probably needed to be more shavings put down because that is one area that I actually went down myself and tried to clean more because we have the understanding that we get it better than what we get back. Or we get back better, but in this case, obviously. So we tried. That was one thing that we actually talked about in the office. How can we try and rectify that? Because we know after the fair, even it's a huge cost. I mean, I think we're looking right now at between $1,200 and $1,500 potentially to pay somebody to come in and pressure wash. So we're trying to figure out, brainstorm ways that we can maybe work with the county from the 4-H side as well to what's going to be the best option there. So we're not leaving it where it's questionable. So, but that's something that I'll pass along and make sure that because I was super thrilled with the way the building was done, honestly. So.
Well, I just want to bring that up.
Yeah. I know that
you are working on some ideas, so that's good.
Yeah.
It's more than just, it is a cattle barn, or livestock building, but we do have wedding receptions and some people's feelings of what a barn should look like are different than others.
We, one day we talked about maybe looking into, and obviously we would bring us to see if we could find a used or individually priced floor scrubber that we could potentially partner on, where then instead of worrying about pressure washing it, it's something that we could have that to be able to clean both barns, because I know the poultry barn is also utilized. So, but that's a fair stages, because after we got the judging, the barn cleaning was brought up again. So, yeah. So.
Hey, thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Chris.
Abby, are you abandoned?
Yeah, I abandoned him last time, so he abandoned me today. But it's fine. I wanted to let you guys know, bring you up on our stats from the first quarter. I presented to the council in April, but so these numbers are just through the end of March, what we sent to DOC in our report. We did 144 risk assessments. This is required by Criminal Rule 26. So basically, anybody that goes into the jail with a new charge, we do a pretrial risk assessment. It's an e-file. The prosecutor and judge can, or the judge can refer to it when determining a bond amount. We had, at the end of March, we had 51 clients on house arrest, post disposition. And then we had 15 transfers that we sent to other counties that we still monitor, but they actually do the electronic monitoring supervision for us. We had 2 pretrial clients. We had 7 wellness court participants. We had 1 client on day reporting, 5 clients on CTP, which is the Community Transition Program. It's a program set up with us, DOC, to help prisoners transition back into the community. However, there's still DOC commitments, so if they mess up or whatever, they go straight back to DOC. Well, first they go visit Sheriff's Department, then they go to DOC. And we had 170 clients pending supervision that we are waiting to come from us that are serving sentences elsewhere. By supervising the people that we have, I got with Mike Eggleston, the jail commander, and we kind of looked up some money that we had saved the county. In 2022, we saved the county $743,470. And in 2023, we saved them $495,180. We figure up the amount by month and then add it together to give a year amount. But that's just to have people on house arrest, what it can save versus having them in jail.
Question, Craig?
No? Wellness work going good?
Yeah, it is.
Cool.
It's getting there. We've got 2 pending, and then we've got 3 referrals, so we have potential to be pretty full. The new probation officer transitions beginning of June, so we're rocking and rolling. Definitely getting harder, but we're still.
What's your capacity on the wellness board?
We want to keep it around 15, depending on phases. It can fluctuate a little bit if you have a lot of people getting ready to complete the program. You can take a few more people on, but average would be 15.
Very good.
I saw news stated Indiana's opioid convictions were down 22% over last year. Is that, do you see anything like that happening here?
So the convictions are down? No.
Was this on the news a night or two ago?
Okay, no, I have not seen that. That would be more of the prosecutor's question on that. Because by the time they come to us, it's
Months down the road.
yeah, I mean, we're lucky if it's a month. You're talking a year to 2 years down from their arrest by the time they come see us.
I can tell you from my perspective, Mark, I don't see as many people using heroin, fentanyl, cocaine. I basically never see cocaine. Everything is methamphetamine. Every day I'm signing 2 to probably 6 charges on methamphetamine. So I mean, it's just a difference.
I will say it's surprising how many people now, and Sheriff, you might be able to say different, but are using straight fentanyl. The meth isn't working, the heroin's not working. We're not really seeing much cocaine, but the amount of straight fentanyl and the young people in the early 20s seems to be the new trend, at least that we're seeing. It surprised me that they're not using other drugs, just straight fentanyl, which is scary.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
Mr. Chad.
Yeah, so over the past few meetings, we've been left about our parks and policies and things that were in effect. I came to realize that in terms of our parks have always prohibited alcohol in them, but it's always been kind of an unspoken park rule at best. So you guys are looking to formalize that, something more concrete. So I have in front of you a proposed ordinance to adopt to effectuate that, rather than relying on simple policy that would be more enforceable.
So we can get this posted, I'm assuming, on the website, or should I read the whole thing?
No, it's posted. Today will be first reading. We'll post it, bring it back next meeting for second reading and passage.
Yeah.
Read the last 3 paragraphs here. So now therefore the Board of Commissioners, Decatur County, do hereby declare that unless specifically otherwise allowed under Indiana law, all alcoholic beverages as defined by Indiana code are prohibited from any and all park and recreational properties owned and or controlled by the Board of Commissioners, Decatur County, that in any fashion utilized as a public entertainment facility. And any and all requests for a temporary vendor designation to participate in an event or festival held within a designated refreshment area seeking to obtain said designation for park and recreational facilities owned by the Board of Decatur County Commissioners shall present request directly to the Board of Commissioners, Decatur County, before said designation and use of property shall be granted. Pursuant to Indiana Code 7.15-8-4, violation of this ordinance is a Class B misdemeanor punishable by up to 180 days in Decatur County Jail and a fine of $1,000. Ron?
You think a park board might be able to take a look at that?
Sure.
But I know you guys. Just to get everybody on the same page.
Sure.
Yep. I know we have a meeting tonight, so.
Okay.
Send that to Teresa. I'll get it.
You can take this copy with you.
All right.
Do you have it? Anybody have any comments, questions? Thanks for getting that, Chad. Kevin?
Yeah, I just came today and looking for an approval from our insurance proposal we presented at the last meeting. If there's any questions.
One question I have, do you find any more discounts?
No, not yet.
It didn't work very hard.
I don't have any questions.
I don't. Inflation.
We just got a lot of stuff. Yeah, got a lot of stuff.
Kevin and I talked last week as well. Like, he had a good idea where he's going to be presenting commissioners with a printout of our claims. You said once a month.
I could do it monthly or quarterly, whichever.
I think monthly would be great. So that way, it wouldn't be specific individual claims, but it would be like a general classification. That way, if we're seeing a trend on something, it's a topic that we can address, and we can talk about it with the department heads or a specific department if we're seeing something regularly happen. I think it's just a way to maybe try to be proactive so that we can address issues so our insurance rates don't unnecessarily continue to go up.
That's a good idea. We need to have a handle on that.
I move to approve the insurance proposal that was presented at the last meeting by Steve and Kevin.
A second.
No, I concur. Well, thank you, Kevin, for your
Thank
work.
you.
I know I gave you a lot. Appreciate what you do for us. Last thing I have, hopefully Janet can explain this, the Congressional School Fund report.
Excuse me, the annual report, somewhere, I don't know where, there were funds, bonds sold to build a school. I don't know what school, but the $40,741 has been in an account or a fund since. I do remember what month Diane Treasure and we, our office agreed that she would just take it out of the interest-bearing account and we're gonna take it to council and ask for an ordinance to send that to the state, so we're done with it. Because it goes, the interest is supposed to go to the schools and over different years of treasure. Neither of us trust the dollars for school they should go to. Because interest reported was, it's so
Unreported.
and there's, she's done an awesome job trying to track it, figure it out, but the records just aren't there.
It's just something we need to do
It's a formal.
officially, you know.
All right, I move to approve adopting the reported numbers for the amount held in trust, showing it on May 1st, 23. The last report was $20,741.38. That the interest earned was $323.37. They're showing as 25 cents.
Second.
Brian, you have anything else for us?
On agreements there, we do have the global economic summit in Indianapolis this week. Also, from a regional standpoint, we meet Purdue this week. Folks, at one center in Shirley County, potential there, as well as the meeting with the IEC the following week to update the project.
Dawn? Anything else?
We are continuing as originally scheduled. We have the Women in Business Conference coming up. We're probably 80% of the way sold out on that conference. That is slated for Thursday, June the 26th. And then we just opened up registrations for our annual golf outing. That is the only fundraiser that the chamber holds for itself. So if you're interested in a day on the course, let me know and I'll get a team signed up. I also want to remind you that we have the job postings page on our website. It is the only job board in Decatur County. I ran a report at the end of April, and that particular page on our website saw over 3,200 hits, had 3,200 views just in the first 4 months of this year. So it is being looked at. I can't guarantee that jobs will be filled or that calls will be made, but it is being viewed heavily. So just continue to keep that in mind.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What else?
Liam with Dispatch Center. I just wanted to let you guys know our AC went out last week. We called Coors and they showed up with service within an hour, 2 hours. It was great service, but they changed out the thermostat and added more Freon. I asked if there was a leak and they said, oh yeah, there's a leak. We had to do the same thing last year. But he said that it was just holding off for repair because of possible renovations to the building. So I just wanted to make you guys aware that they've had to fill it up again, and just pending on what decisions made for the building as far as to take it from there.
I don't think the AC system's getting any major changes. They just brought that modern times.
I think it'll be, well, that would have to be recharged.
Maybe worth just getting a quote to repair that system since it's in disrepair. So we're not going to turn it into a multi-zone big unit. It's going to maintain being small individual area units. Right?
Mainly just wanted to bring it to your attention because with it being done last year and then again already, before season, it's probably a little bit more this year.
Would you want to have them come back and quote replacement?
I can do.
Do a section at a time, kind of as it goes. We can do them all at once too, but got one that's less for replacement.
I think you have, I think one of our cats doesn't have your topics on it.
Yeah, so 2 weeks ago, last commission meeting, I emailed out potential policy changes that we've been discussing for the last month and a half. One was adding HR and chain of command for non-elected departments. Specifically, chapter 6.4.2, which is a central harassment section of the policy. Also, the security of the premises with firearms. I went back to the oldest version we could find, which is the version before last. Made some adjustments to that version. Policy prior to the 2020 policy update was that no county employees or officials can have firearms on county property, and that they and the legislative state that we can use for your vehicles. Just wanted to put that in front of you guys for further discussion or potential changes. There's also a chapter 7, which is the complaint process. It talks about, again, unelected department heads adding HR into the chain and how to do that.
I think adding HR into the chain is the proper thing to do. That's why we created that position, for one of the reasons.
I know in my time being in this chair, there have been a number of issues we've used HR for. So I think embodying that position into our policy or our handbook, I think is important. Then as far as the firearms, weapons policy, this will make it so that the handbook properly reflects the sheriff and his security plan is for the courthouse. Sheriff, have you had an opportunity to look at what's written in that new proposed policy?
Yeah, I have.
Any issues?
I think the big thing here is this new policy is not in conflict with the ordinance. I mean, that's very important. The ordinance and the policy mirror each other. I believe it does with this provision.
I move to approve both policy changes.
Chad, you look at them.
I did look at them, and I'd also checked in with the sheriff to make sure he felt that they work together and stated they do. So, yes. The handbook hadn't been updated since we brought in HR, so this definitely needs to be accommodated and make sure there's not other things missing, looping that in, but it's definitely makes sense.
Do we want to send the policy changes out? Jay shaking her head, yes, change some policy.
Well, we'll send it.
Yeah, keep everybody.
Before we vote to approve them, or?
Oh, that's what you're doing right
That was the question.
That was the question.
We send them out first or just? Also, I want to look at, when we redo this policy, it needs to have something within the policy that everybody's looking at that has a time and a date in it. For my time as commissioner, I've got 2 different policies. Last October, the policy sent to me was, I don't know how long, but it wasn't policy I got 2 months ago. So there's a different conversation about firearms. So one policy that I have on my computer that I got last October, the policy I got this spring was different. So there needs to be
I thought they were dated. One was 2013 and one was 2020.
well, it needs to be on the bottom of every page. Sometimes when people send me their policies or what they want to quote out of a policy, they only send me a page. So if we put like a footnote in the policy of the PDF and then lock it so nobody can change that while we're getting it, we don't know what the current version is, what the annual version date is.
Yeah, I like that idea.
You can't. Just depends on how deep you go. We're looking to see which way to read.
Tony, were you thinking about redoing the whole personnel manual?
No, I think there's some conversation about doing some different sections and some revisions in different places. But this was one pointed. We started the firearms conversation last summer. When I came in, I noticed that the policy and ordinance weren't in compliance, so we've been working through that for 10 months.
I was just going to say, one of the things you could put in that personnel policy is when people use their own personal auto for county business, is to say they can't unless it's given permission to use their own car. And the reason we want to do that is to make sure that we just don't have anybody that's an employee of the county use their own car for county business. So that might be something you think about, is that they do use their car. They have to have permission, plus they have to have insurance, and it's got to be such a limit kind of thing.
There's so many people.
So like Kenny doing inspections in his own vehicle. Been going on for years, right?
IT, and a list of people that use their own vehicles for capital.
Marines is your guy that goes out and does assessment. That's his personal vehicle, right?
He's 1099 contract.
Yes, the only thing we want to make sure is they have insurance because, you know, if a claim were to occur, again, we're planning for the worst and hope for the best kind of thing. If there was a severe accident, their insurance is going to be primary, then the county's going to come in second to that. So if we can make sure that their limits of liability are fairly high, then the county, it would be down the road.
So then if we have somebody that's called in after hours for something and they're driving their personal vehicle and they have to go out, they would need to have the same thing. We'd have to have the same thing then.
Well, driving to work, it's not an issue. It's once they get here and get assigned, you'd have to make, I don't know how all the departments work, and maybe it's a blanket thing. It says if you're on call for this weekend, you have to go out. That's permission given. Because the insurance policy, it has to do with permission. That's how everybody gets to drive. Because everybody says, is anybody excluded? Can anybody drive the vehicle? I said, well, as long as they have permission, they're covered by the county's insurance. So
did you guys run to different precincts?
Oh, heck yeah.
You have to.
I had over 200 miles. What happens if you don't have the insurance, what you guys require? You're going to provide a vehicle to those that don't have that amount of insurance on their personal vehicle?
Kevin will.
Yeah.
Mark was talking so good about it.
Well,
I say we have several that are going out.
Yeah, it's not just me.
And then even the conference.
Well, that's what I was thinking. That's the discussion we just had. Like when I go to conference, I'm in my official
Yeah.
capacity. I'm driving my personal vehicle, like a French Lick or
Yeah.
Michigan City or whatever.
Yeah, I transport boating equipment in my vehicle constantly.
That stuff's expensive.
Exactly.
And that's one of the reasons I think they were transporting. Like, if we get rear-ended, whose insurance is covering all the equipment we got in the truck?
I just bring it up for discussion purposes. No, it's something to think about. If you're going to redo your personnel manual, have something in writing. Again, how it's going to work out, I don't know, but it's something to think about. To have a limit of insurance, and most of it is like 100,000, 300,000, or 300,000 single limit liability policy, and that's high enough. And the mileage that you get is supposed to pay for the cost of insurance and all the maintenance and all of that.
Patty, can you send out an email to all department heads to get an idea how often personal vehicles are being used in their daily job or in their official capacity? I'm including any department, prosecutor's office, assessor's office, clerk's office, any of them.
Treasurer's office.
Yeah, I mean, health department, you name it. Yeah, that way we can get an idea of what we are here.
Anything else?
Do we include like Chris was talking about, when you go to Walmart and somebody stops you and you're standing there for an hour trying to explain their assessment? I put that down.
On a weekend?
No, well,
I'm guessing
I mean, I get
no.
calls, texts all the time, but I mean, you go to the supermarket, trust me, right now.
I don't think, my opinion, Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think that would be something that she's working in her official capacity because she's going to Walmart on a weekend and she gets stopped.
Yeah, now if she's taking a car to Fort Wayne, that's the whole deal. Yeah. Or going to the bank.
Yeah. Whatever. I'd just start turning in my insurance bills if that was the case.
I just wanted to throw something out there just to give you a heads up. I spoke with Jeremy the other day, but after election, our machines, so basically I've been trying to find a way to replace our new election machines. I've been looking for the past several months trying to find the money. We have a quote that's over $193,000 to replace our machines. Once they hit 10 years, they start slowing down and they recommend you start looking into replacing them. They are 20 years old. So you can imagine. So during election, we had a lot of complaints of like how slow it is and how long they're taking. And we had to send some back to be repaired. And it was just a whole thing. And I tried through the Secretary of State to get the money and they turned me down. So I went to the ARPA committee in March and presented it, trying to get some funding from them. They decided for some reason not to put on it in April. So hoping maybe in May I'll hear something, but
If not, I gotta find a way to try to get new machines. So I'm working on that, just for a heads up.
Didn't be the old boy on the back row.
Yeah, and Microvote recommended when they were there as well, when we do, if and when we do get them, that you need to have a battery backup for each precinct as well. So that's something else that.
Didn't you just recently have to get some kind of new equipment?
So the new cases, and then the VVPAT machines. Yes, so that's like the paper machines that were along the side. So the equipment, yeah, and the state paid for the initial ones that they gave us.
And any new voting machines be compatible with that stuff as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe if you're changing out the old panel, putting a new panel into the current cases with the current VPATs.
Yeah.
Good luck, Dave.
How much you looking at? 62?
67 sounds right.
67.
Pays the bill a little.
So the new cases we have now would work, and we'll just need a few extra. We've got to have some backups because we had to replace like several going in and out this year. So that can happen,
So
but
you had to replace all 67, how much would that cost you? 3 or 400?
that's the 193
Oh, that's all?
plus $1,000, but that doesn't include the battery backups, which can share for some machines, but yeah, so that's why I'm trying to find it elsewhere before I have to go to county.
Yes.
Move to recess.
We are there.
Does it say how many is it against?